Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. Each week, we talk openly and honestly about the hard things in life together with you. So join us and some of our dearest friends and greatest heroes to talk about anxiety, boundaries, parenting, infidelity, our bodies, loving and losing, all of the things that make us human. Listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3,475. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Montgomery. And you are in the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, the Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted. Drinking to drunk. All right, here we go. Florida man arrested for speeding said he was driving fast because he was trying to get to Cuba. Meanwhile, a couple discovered their hotel windows were not tinted, and everyone saw her playing his tuba. Buffalo man learns the dentist can understand you with his hands in your mouth. Woman wanted after attacking mom with baby as we head to a Little Caesars down south. And a man is arrested after threatening doctor with his gun, his finger gun. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, there's no shortage of PSAs and news stories about the dangers of distracted driving. And look, we all get it, but it doesn't really seem to stop anyone. People still text and drive or eat soup and drive, whatever, and I understand. What I don't understand are these Tesla drivers with the autopilot feature. In the last few days, not months or weeks, in the last few days, we've gotten all kinds of stories. We have the story out of Wisconsin where a cop followed a man sleeping in his Tesla while he drove down the road for at least 2 miles. Earlier this week, a guy in Snohomish County, he slammed into a police car because he was trusting his Tesla's autopilot. And in Texas, 2 guys died when their Tesla crashed. They were both in the back seat when the car crashed. Look, like it or not, you need to pay attention. I mean, it sucks, but you got to pay attention. And not just when you're driving. There's a guy in Florida walking his dog, no big deal. He checks out a bush, and in that instant, a gator jumped out of the water, snatched his dog. Or there's the woman in Atlanta who tripped and fell into a fountain because she wouldn't look up from her phone while she was walking through a mall. And if you have small kids, looking away for 1 freaking second can be detrimental. We have the story of a woman. All she wanted to do was pee, and she did. And by the time she came back, one of her kids was naked and covered in peanut butter. She does not know how, but he got all of that done in the amount of time it takes to pee. We have the parent who had to do the Heimlich on her toddler because she turned her head and the kid stuffed an entire potato in his mouth and started choking. and even people that are in trouble with the law. Take your eyes off of them for 1 second. Next thing you know, they're hiding the 2 bags of cocaine you saw on them in their anus. Happened recently. Cop watched him pull it out of his pocket. He looked down at his paperwork, looked up, the coke was gone. The guy had already stuffed it in his butt. Today, we're just talking about, like, look, for the most part, you pay attention, you're watching stuff, but you ever get up and get a beer in the middle of a sports game by the time you come back, like 2 touchdowns have been scored, something incredible? So today, this is what we want to talk about. It's a fill-in-the-blank style question. I swear I just looked away for 1 second, and then blank happened.
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
There's a new and different way to fund your business or side hustle without the hassles of a loan. HomeTap. HomeTap is an investor that gives you access to your home equity in cash in exchange for a share of your home's future value with no monthly payments or interest. How you use the money is totally up to you. HomeTap. Get more from home ownership. Get more from life. Subject to eligibility, terms and conditions apply. Visit HomeTap.com to apply in minutes. That's HomeTap.com. HomeTap.com.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, the show's head away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3,475. Man, oh man, what a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Once again, the exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Stevie bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Are you going easy on us today on Who Sucks Less?
I mean, I think your decision-making will be tough. We've covered all these stories, I believe, in headlines at some point. This one, yes. This one, yes. Yeah, we've covered all these, but they have one thing very much in common, and it would be that a lot of times when people have conflict, they reach for their weapons. Mm-hmm. These people, however, do not have guns or knives or anything like that. They just basically grab what's closest.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yep.
Okay.
I feel a bucket.
Oh, there's buckets, there's meat.
10-pound meat log to the head.
That's one of them.
Okay. All right. Today we're going to talk about just taking your eye off the ball for a minute. Sometimes you just glance away very quickly. Something happens. Other times you leave the room for a minute. Other times in a blink of an eye, everything changes. And sometimes, as you said, and one of my favorite things is sports this way.
Jesus, man.
Especially if you're watching one of your favorite teams or whatever, you just need to go, you need to get a beer, you need to do whatever. I have learned that if I am ever at a Sounders match and it is 0-0, I need to go to the bathroom.
And they'll score.
And they will score.
You and my wife have that in common.
Every single time, and I do it on purpose. Like, I'm going to go to the bathroom now. They're going to put one in. And I swear to you, it seems like it's 100% of the time. It's probably a lot less than that, but it just seems that way.
We physically went to a Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. Physically go. It's at, the Superdome. Well, one thing about the Superdome that we did not know is when you go to concessions, they don't have TVs or any audio to let you know what's going on in the field. So one of the things that in spite of being there, 2 of the most significant plays in the Super Bowl we went to were an interception, right? So we are there in a beer line, and we hear the crowd go crazy. Nobody knows what's going on, so I run to the end of the tunnel. I see everyone who's wearing red has their arms up. All right, so the Ravens are playing the 49ers. So Miles says, what happened? I said, look, something good for the 49ers. I don't know if they scored. I don't know what happened, but if they're in red, they're real happy. About 2 minutes later, as we're getting our beer, there's another massive roar. And again, no TVs, no idea what's happening. I run to the end of the tunnel. Everyone in purple is now cheering. What happened? I don't know. So by the time we're only gone for like 5 minutes, right? By the time we get back to our seats, the Ravens have scored a touchdown. That is the team I went down to see. I did not see my team score a touchdown in the Super Bowl that I spent a lot of money to see. So what had happened in this exchange that I see later, like on NFL Network, I guess the Ravens have been driving down the field and Sam Fran got a turnover. That's when I see the red people. But again, we don't know. Somehow the Ravens stopped them and then managed to score. That's when I see the purple people. Again, we don't know. But I'm like, we're at the goddamn Super Bowl. We spent more money on these tickets than I've spent for any sporting event in my life. And I didn't see this. And it's really freaking annoying. So, by the way, Superdome, get some goddamn TVs.
Yeah. Or even on the inside. Even on the inside.
Well, I mean, you would think they would have
like every
audio.
other.
Is that a Super Bowl thing? You think?
No, because you're at the stadium. There's
right. But I feel like usually at a sporting event, when I go to the bathroom, I have the local like radio feed or something.
Always, right? Yeah.
So I'm wondering, because it's a Super Bowl, do they not have that?
Well, I'll tell you this:
it's on CBS.
It's still an older stadium. And they really, I mean, they
plug in a TV.
They sprayed it down and they did everything for the Super Bowl, but ultimately, it is still New Orleans. And, like, when I told you, man, when I looked at my ticket, I went through the New Orleans Saints website. It is a virtual website where you can put yourself like you can at CenturyLink or at T-Mobile in that seat so you can see
the view, right?
The view from where you're going to be sitting. And when I went to look at my ticket, it said, you too, because the seat I was sitting in was an open season ticket. There was no line. You could buy that season ticket right there,
right?
And you could get them for the year. My ticket, where I was sitting, was $438 a year.
That's a season ticket.
That was the season ticket price.
The Saints had been to the Super Bowl in 2 seasons previous. I mean, like
there was no PSL. There was no $5,000 entry fee or anything like that. It was like, you want to go? You want every game? It's $438. So I think a lot of it has to do with that. If you're inside the Superdome, the TVs that are in there that are hanging up, there's one on the end of each end zone. That's it. In your bedroom, you have a bigger TV than what they hung up on the sides. I mean, I swear to you, you couldn't even see it. I mean, it's just like you looked up, like, why is it?
You're hosting the Super Bowl,
right? You know? It is what it is. All right, we go to Florida for our question. Mike McCoy has read up a bit on alligator attacks and what to do if you find yourself in one, and good thing, because he was able to put that knowledge to use this week. McCoy and Jake, his 8-year-old chocolate lab, were taking a stroll on Tuesday near a pond behind a middle school in Holiday, Florida, when Jake stopped to check out a bush. That's when a gator leaped out of the water and dragged his dog Jake from the shore, pulling him into the water. He was in a death roll with that thing, according to McCoy. That's when he jumped into action, implementing the gator tips he'd learned from his informal studies. That's when he stuck his thumb in the animal's eye socket and picked it up out of the water so it could not swim away with its mouth still clamped around Jake. McCoy and Jake finally broke free. A nurse from the nearby middle school helped bandage McCoy up before he drove himself and Jake to receive further medical care. Do you think that man took the dog to the hospital, the veterinary center first, or do you think he took himself to the hospital?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Now, I'm going to say he went to the vet first. And the reason I think he went to the vet first, look, if this is my story is my dog died when I saw it get snatched by a gator. But if you took the time to jump in the water to fight an alligator and get your dog, I'm assuming you went to the vet first.
Yeah, the dog has top priority.
Absolutely. McCoy had to get stitches on his left hand. The gator had repeatedly bit him as he tried to free Jake. Jake suffered, obviously, multiple bites, but neither of them was seriously hurt. He's on the mend, according to a friend. He's full of spit and vinegar today.
Oh, yeah.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission told the news channel that efforts are being made to capture the gator, believed to be between 7 feet and 9 feet long. By the way, gators live in water. They live by a pond, and they hunt small things to eat. So if you're just wondering why you need to hunt this alligator down, there's absolutely no reason to do so.
Don't walk on the water's edge in Florida, because he's not the only. Sir, there's a woman walking next to a canal, and her little dog got snatched right up. And the gator wasn't being aggressive. It's like, this is where I live. I'm hungry, and that dog's an easy mark.
There was a video within the last year where a guy's dog got taken in by an alligator, and he just went in and got his ass and pulled it out of its mouth, pried his mouth apart. There was a video last week about a guy who's bass fishing in Florida. He's reeling one in. Maybe he's bone fishing. I don't know what he's fishing. Either way, this gator just comes charging out of the water. He wants that fish or he wants that guy. We know freshwater in Florida has alligators. If you go all the way up to South Carolina, there are alligators in the water. You know, if you're past that point, that there is a chance in freshwater that there are alligators living there. This is no surprise to anybody. There's cottonmouths, which are a dangerous snake.
We're going to find that snake.
There's all kinds of stuff in there that could do damage to you. You could get bit by a mosquito and be in the hospital for two freaking years.
Going to find that mosquito.
I mean, I swear to God. I mean, it's crazy.
Dude, not alligators, but even in Maryland, like if you go to the canal, like out a little bit farther than the city, like there was always snakes in that canal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like, you know it. So avoid it.
All right. A Washington State man thought his Tesla's autopilot mode would automatically avoid a parked vehicle in its path. He was wrong. That man's Tesla Model S crashed into a police SUV that was parked on the shoulder with its emergency lights on. A deputy was responding to another collision. He had gotten out of his vehicle just 30 seconds earlier to speak with firefighters. According to the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office, nobody was injured in the crash, but the police vehicle sustained significant damage, and the Tesla driver was ticketed for causing the vehicle to be unlawfully operated. I saw a picture of this thing the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember in the office. It was like, he knocked the front axle off that thing. I mean, I figure a police car is a little bit more constructed, a little bit stronger than an average car.
Maybe.
Based on the fact that they're faster cars. I don't know.
I would just point this one thing out. It was on the shoulder of the road. So even an autopilot, it's not quite in its lane.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the cop had stopped in the middle of the road. He's on the shoulder of the road, which is where we would go, say, to change a flat tire.
When is this application something that you would feel comfortable with in any scenario whatsoever? I understand what the car has the capability of doing.
Maybe.
When do you think this would be the right time to use it? In other words,
people know how to drive cars, but people get in car crashes every day. So, I mean, nothing's 100%, but I feel more comfortable when I'm in control of something.
Right. I mean, like, just for 3 miles down the highway, maybe I'll turn this on. Like, I don't understand.
Like, I get it in a plane, because a plane's not going to hit anything. You know,
I've been in a Tesla when the guy put on the autopilot.
Was he still behind the wheel?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That helps, right.
And how long did he do it for?
Yeah, like you're saying, a few miles.
Just to
show us it could be done.
Okay. I mean, I can think, I'm trying to think of the scenario, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to autopilot it in from here, take this phone call. I don't know what the scenario was where they would say, okay, here's when you safely use this application.
It's when people believe that they're safe to use it. They're just wrong. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with the autopilot. It's like anything. There's nothing wrong with a spoon, but if a guy takes a spoon, goes around town and stabs 18 people in the eyes, it's not the spoon. It's the person with the spoon. So same thing with these Teslas. Like, autopilot's fine. They just don't assume, like the guys in Texas, that you're both going to climb in the back seat, man.
That's ridiculous.
Police say people whose vehicles are in autopilot mode are still required to be paying attention to the road and ready for hazards. Tesla says drivers should keep their hands on the wheel at all times after the mode is enabled. The executive director of the Center for Auto Safety says that people are misusing the technology, but the company should take some of the blame. When Tesla calls it autopilot, when Tesla calls it full self-driving, that convinces people that it's something that it is not.
But Tesla also says that it's not. I mean, it also says, right. So, they call it that. I can call myself Superman. It does not mean I should jump off of a building.
But the problem is the button says you're Superman. You know what I mean? Like, your ID says Superman on it. And that's the problem. It says autopilot, self-driving. So I think the perception is that, yes, that's true, but people are literally taking it for what it is.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you.
Sure.
Like, there should be some responsibility, but also, like...
But you're selling the car to adults.
We got to... Hey, look, you're right.
If it's a
and
child,
Miles is right, too, though. We got to put warnings on everything, right?
Right. It's like Tide Pods. They said, hey, tell you what we're going to do. Because kids keep eating these things, which is probably another instance of, turning away for a second. Kids keep eating the Tide Pods. And they keep eating the Tide Pods because they look like Aquafresh gum. They look like it's going to be minty fresh, delicious, whatever. It appeals to a kid. So instead of making them brown or something to turn the kid off, we're just going to make the locks a little different. Because they still look edible. Your kid's still going to think it's delicious. We just made it harder to get to.
Yeah.
But they'll still look real, real good if they get their hands on it.
Best one that I've seen lately. And Steve, you were the victim.
I mean, look, sorry, Miles. But how many times you watch somebody can't even figure out when it says pull?
Right. There's a woman who walked.
I was going to say that's the one you missed, man. That is the one you missed. This was an epic thing the other day. We were outside having a cigarette, and there are big glass panes that are in the front of this building. Mm-hmm. And they're probably 14 feet high, 15 feet high. They're huge. There's glass doors in the front, but these window panes are floor to ceiling, and the lobby of the building is pretty substantial. There's a woman sitting beside a gentleman at a little couch area where there's a chair, something like that. She gets up. Now, Ted is coming in from the inside of the building. You're coming from, like, getting a drink or something. And so you're walking up the stairs, and you see this. So I am staring the same direction that Steve is. Steve turns his head for a minute, and this woman literally walks into the glass pane full speed, like, boom. And I hear it on the outside. And I look on the inside like, I couldn't even believe it really happened. And I'm like, did that really happen? And then she turns around and she puts her hand on her forehead and she starts walking away holding her forehead. And you saw that.
I thought like she was upset about something. Then when Miles explained what happened, I'm like, oh, her face hurts.
But Ted saw the whole thing from the best angle.
It was awesome. Because, I mean, automatic doors still have, like, handles or whatever.
Right.
She just got up, made a right, and walked full speed as if this window was just going to open.
It was like it was not even there.
Right. And she hit it face first.
She hit it like a bird. I mean, flying into, like, the owl into the church window.
I was very happy that we still had to wear a mask in the lobby. Because, I mean, I was, had a very big grin, we'll say.
I was just shocked. I was like, oh my God.
An eating grin, if you will.
That just happened. And the other time we were out there.
I couldn't believe that he missed it. Because when you guys came back up, I think I was telling him, like, Mike, you won't believe what I just saw.
I saw. But you saw the aftermath of her walking away, holding her head and everything else. And the other time was, we're out there smoking a cigarette again. And, Steve, you just turned your head for a second to look at something, and that's when that guy got hit by a bus. Now, I know you heard it.
Oh, I heard it.
Well, see, I saw this dude fly. I mean, when I say, like, fly, back to you saying you're Superman, I mean, this guy, he took the brunt of this bus, man, and just went flying. But, the sound was deafening.
It was like a golf club hitting a watermelon. But somehow, dude, it is a human skull. It's weird. Because like Miles said, I turned my head. I heard the sound. It's like someone just got hit in the face. And by the time I turned around, dude's just sprawled out, tripping on whatever he was on. And
I'm not even sure he was on anything. I just think he was something. Our question today, I swear I just looked away for 1 second. Then blind cabin. 206-421-ROB.
Normal sober people get hurt when they get hit by buses.
They don't react the way he did.
Yeah.
He refused treatment.
Right. And he seemed like he needed to be somewhere. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Happy hump day, gentlemen.
Hola.
So I looked away and I snagged the power line with my truck.
You snagged how big is this goddamn truck?
Well, it was a regular just dump truck, and I had backed into an area where my customer wanted their soil to be, and I neglected to see a power line right in the area where they wanted me to dump. So when I raised my box up, nothing happened. But then when I moved forward in order to clear the pile and put my box back down, it snagged it and did a little bit of damage. I didn't knock the darn thing apart, but it wasn't fun. And, one reason why I'm really paranoid around power lines now.
Was there an electrical hazard? Did you rip it off? Was it a live wire?
No, I didn't rip it off. But so what had happened was I was in a really dinky old truck. These trucks, they're air powered, so you got the air brakes and everything. You got to pull the line and everything, and that was going out. So normally when I go to a customer's place, I'll park the truck, get out, take a look around, make sure there are no power lines or any sort of hazards. But because this thing was going out and was going into the shop quite literally the next day, I just needed to get this last load done. So I was hanging out my window, checking out everything, and the customer told me where they wanted it. So I went there, dumped, and this thing, once you dump it out, it was a good 15 tons of dirt coming out of my box. So it's pretty high up in the air. Pulled forward.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so I pulled forward so my back end would clear it, and it makes that noticeable clanging sound, and then you put it down, and then that's when it touched it.
Okay.
And, I was later told that it cost them about $10,000 to have it repaired and everything.
Now, does any of that cost get passed on to you, or you just get a reprimand or something?
Well, that's why I like to be a company driver. I was reprimanded, but because of the circumstances I was in, and my boss sent me out on that job knowing full well that my truck was not really road legal. So he gave me the talk, but I didn't get written up or anything. And I was with a very small company at the time, so I was the only other driver besides him.
So the luck that he had in this situation is that you had basically a truck that is not road legal and you're driving for a small company, so there'll be hush-hush. just so they don't get in trouble. See, I kind of like that, being in that position. Like, cool, listen, the thing you gave me is illegal, so I know you're not reaching out to anyone.
I swear I just looked away for 1 second, then blank happened. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Josh. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I looked away for 1 second, and my daughter tried to jump out the window.
That tells me she does not like you. No, where were you? What's the situation?
So we were living in an apartment complex, and I was on the 3rd story. So I was trying to make dinner, and we bought a little table set for it for real small children. And so she was just coloring, and I was making spaghetti. So I turned around to dump the water from the spaghetti, and I heard thud, thud, thud. I looked around. She grabbed the little chair, went to the window, and she's putting her full body against the screen window. I go dead sprint, drop the spaghetti all over the floor. By the time I grab her, the screen was already halfway, out towards the window.
Yeah.
And if it was more thud, she probably would have fell 3 stories onto the concrete sidewalk.
That would not have been good.
God damn.
Yeah.
And how long were your hands shaking after this?
Oh, probably a good hour, because I had to tell my wife, and I was probably more scared to tell my wife than what happened of that incident of her trying to
listen,
jump out
man,
the window.
as a parent, I've been there, and here's my strategy with that. Don't tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the kid's not going to know. Just when they say, how's the kid? You say, the kid was fine. Listen, I know for a fact, when my kids were younger, I'd come home from work, whatever, how was your day? And there's a few things here and there, but I'm sure the worst of it, I did not hear about. And I don't want to know about it. And in return, you don't, I will tell you 3 years from now, but I'm not going to tell you when it's just your watch. And mostly bad things that, actually the worst thing that happened, as far as losing the kid, our kid could not walk yet. All right. She's a little kid. And the beauty of that is typically they are where you leave them. And same thing, I went into the kitchen to grab something to drink or something like that. I was gone for maybe 10 seconds, come back. My kid is gone. I mean, she's nowhere to be found. But my wife and I are both home, so we are freaking the hell out. I'm like, man, she can't walk. No one's broken the hell in. You know what I mean? Where is our kid? And, it's funny at first. Then you start getting real desperate. There's no way to explain, what that feeling's like. But it's where's our goddamn kid? And then we realize, well, she can roll. And I'm looking at the sofa. I look under the sofa. She's completely under it, way in the back. She's fine. She's good. But when I pull her out, first of all, clean under your sofa. You forget how many dust bunnies are in there. I pulled this kid out. She looked like I pulled her out of the dryer lint trap.
Mm-hmm. Every time I have kids, I always say the same thing. Man, it was easy. I don't know why you bitch all the time about stuff. They were fine. I don't even know. They were no problem at all. They're a terror. But with me, they're good. Don't you worry. I got this thing taken care of.
Oh, you're always going to say, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Hey, man.
Don't worry about it.
They watch TV, got some ice cream.
No, Gene. That's why the first word they learn is no. No, do not put your finger in that socket.
Yeah.
No,
I saw
do
one
not
last
try to go down
weekend.
the stairs.
Get them out of your mouth. Those aren't for eating. They're for playing with.
You're wrong, Ted. Everything that can fit in a kid's mouth apparently is made for eating.
Right. It was just these little balls. But it was once we had established, and same thing, we're going to go inside for 2 minutes. I was like, got it. Mm-hmm. They're not for eating.
Yeah, right, in 2 minutes.
I swear I just looked away for 1 second, then blank happened. 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
Your home equity. It could be an untapped opportunity instead of an untouchable asset. Introducing HomeTap. HomeTap is an investor, not a lender. They give you cash in exchange for a share of your home's future value. Use it to pay off debt, make renovations, fund a business, or just live a better life. There's no interest or monthly payments to worry about. HomeTap. Get more from home ownership. Get more from life. Subject to eligibility. Terms and conditions apply. Visit HomeTap.com to apply in minutes. That's HomeTap.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Shocker, back to Florida. 48-year-old Lakewood man was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol and possession of cocaine on Monday morning. Marty Martinez, he was found sleeping behind the wheel of a pickup truck on the side of I-75. Deputies said he opened the truck's driver's side door and woke Martinez. He said he saw a white powdery substance on Martinez's nose and noticed a strong smell of whiskey coming from his breath. I believe this is the guy that's mugshot was made famous, wasn't it? Was he the guy that had all the powder all over his nose? Or
I think this is a different guy because this is fresh.
Maybe this guy cleaned all the stuff up.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. This seems like a Marty.
Well, right.
Old M&M's back in the club.
Marty allegedly had bloodshot, watery eyes, was speaking slurred Spanish, and had trouble performing tasks. When the deputy asked Martinez to get out of the vehicle, he forgot to put the car in park, and so it slowly started rolling forward. Deputy then had to put the vehicle in park so Martinez could exit. After failing multiple field sobriety tests...
How many are you going to give this guy?
The deputy arrested Martinez under probable cause for driving a car under the influence. Deputy used 2 handcuffs to detain Martinez, citing concerns for comfort. While Martinez was in the back of his patrol car, the deputy watched as he took multiple phone calls and then pulled 2 baggies of white powdery substance out of his pockets. Mm-hmm. As the deputy was completing his paperwork, Martinez shoved both bags up his anus. According to the arrest report.
Quick, he's not looking.
After being transported to the Naples jail, Martinez was required to do a strip search where the baggies were recovered by deputies. And then a drug test confirmed that the substances in the bags were in fact cocaine. A search of the truck revealed another bag of cocaine and a bag of marijuana. He was arrested for DUI, possession of coke, and evidence tampering.
I like that move. Just like, all right, man, he's looking back down the paperwork, up the butt.
I swear I just looked away for 1 second, then blank happened. 206-421-ROCK. I'd be scared to do that. You know there's powder on the outside of the bag.
Yeah.
You know they say, like, if you were to put any... The way that your backside... the way that it takes things in through your body,
things, right?
It's more straight toward the bloodstream. That's why alcohol or any of that stuff is not good to kind of have
directly into the... Well, yeah, but at the point that I'm being arrested, if I think I have a chance of hiding it from the cops and it's on me, I'm going to go ahead and try to stuff it up there, too. I just like the fact the cop... Yeah. Do you think the cop said to him as they're driving to the jail, like, hey, man, I saw you pull the bags of coke out of your pocket. Now I can't... I know they're in your butt. The first thing we're going to do when we... Like, you're not fooling me, but when we get there, you got to squat.
Mm-hmm. Now, Florida isn't... well, I guess it's more of a distribution issue. It probably... as far as the fines go, I know for a fact that it's not that cocaine is overlooked in Florida. It's just there's a different approach to the drug.
Right.
You know, compared to other drugs, as far as law enforcement is concerned. I mean, Miami was built on cocaine.
Right.
It's not that it's not illegal in Las Vegas, but it's just one of those things.
It's understood.
It's just one of those things. It's understood. However, if you are distributing that, then
then you get popped.
It's really bad.
Absolutely.
Florida, for sure.
Well, I mean, same thing with weed, right?
It was like weed here before it was legal. I mean, we'd walk down the street.
But weed, I'm just saying, like, in the Northwest, like, weed's legal, but also it was never that big of a deal.
It just was.
Well, you don't want to mess around in Texas.
Oh, no.
Austin. But
no.
Like,
not even
maybe Austin.
Even Nashville. You hear some big country artists tell some crazy stories, and, like, they're famous, and they get trouble in Nashville.
Yeah, Tennessee doesn't play, man.
I swear I just looked away for 1 second, then blank happened. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Peyton. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
How you guys doing today?
Doing great, Peyton. Thanks, man.
Thanks for keeping us company through the pandemic.
Well, thank you for keeping us company. What else would we be doing?
So I went to a music festival in Canada and barely got any sleep the whole time. Went with one of my buddies, and we need to leave the festival, and he's saying, you know, he's super tired, and we did drugs and drank the whole weekend and stuff, and you know, we're driving, I look over, and I kind of see him starting to doze off a little bit, and I'm like, you know, you need me to drive, man? He's like, no, I'm good. You know, okay. Keep going. Doze off again. Are you sure, man? You kind of seem tired. No, dude, I'm fine. I'm good. Okay. Look down on my phone. Look over at him. dude is asleep, and I look up, and we are going directly towards, like, a huge cliff. So I grabbed the wheel and jerked it to the left, and I kid you not, dude, we skidded, like, over to the edge, not, like, super concerningly, but close enough where I was like, dude, you almost just killed us. Like, if I would not have looked up any sooner, there's no way we would have stopped, like, with how that all just went.
How fast were you guys going?
I mean, it was a windy, like, back road of Canada. So, I mean, I think the speed limit was, like, 35. I mean, he was sleeping anyway, so he wasn't going too fast.
Well, you know, like, there's that one weird part of right when you're going to sleep, like right between like somewhat conscious and actual sleep. Right. You've seen this on the couch a number of times with a date with somebody you know, watching a movie. Like, you're going to sleep already? No, I'm fine. Right. Mom, get up and go to bed. No, I'm good. I'm just resting my ass. You're falling asleep, Mom. You know, like you think you're awake, but you're not really awake.
I don't even think you think you're awake. You are, but you're convinced you can tell other people that you weren't sleeping.
Right, exactly, and that's the weird thing about it. Like it's like there's some guilt involved in it.
It's like it's okay to sleep.
You know, like it's
just go to sleep.
Yeah, just go to the bed.
No, I'm fine.
Right.
And this plays into like your guys' Tesla autopilot thing. Like, I mean, depending on how the future goes, I don't know how comfortable I am with letting something else drive me somewhere.
No.
I mean, I still have PTSD sitting in like a passenger seat on like super long car rides.
Just because
it's just not good.
Yeah, just because everybody's jonesing to see live stuff. I know this was before the pandemic, but who did you go to see?
Well, this was in 2014. And it was a hip hop rap, and I think there was some rock. I honestly can't even remember fully. I mean, I remember Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole were the headliners.
Nice. That's pretty solid, man. Mm-hmm. Not worth dying for, but pretty solid.
Yeah, but man, when you've been putting it on for a couple days, staying up late, doing your thing. I mean, like when you get home, you can almost sleep for a day after that thing.
So what's the problem with like the Gorge? You know, we're going to go see a show. You know you're going to have a good time. You do have a good time, but then the next day, just that horrible realization, like, we have to get back. Mm-hmm. Not only everyone feels like crap, and then the temperature skyrocketed. It seems like 80 degrees warmer than it was when you went to sleep, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. You've been asleep for an hour and a half. Oh, God. I mean, just wait. It's 90 degrees, man. You're dehydrated. You're sweating. It's just like, I hate my life right now.
It's so hot during the day, and you're just getting beaten. And if you go into the venue at, say, 1, 2 o'clock, right? You'd never think to yourself, I need to take the warmest hoodie I have and a beanie with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? For later.
Yeah.
I'm not going to walk around with a jacket. You know what I mean? It's 95 degrees. And you need that jacket. You don't realize, man, when that sun goes down, it is like night and day. I mean, it is completely different. It gets so cold. And you cannot believe how cold it got. And you're like, it's a tough place to prepare for a concert. You need a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? You got
to bring the blanket to sit on, a blanket for later. Yeah. And then in the morning time, you're in your tent. And once that sun comes up, that is so hot.
It's just, right.
And I've been there before where, like, other people are still sleeping. And I'm just one of those people. If I have been out having a good time, like, I'm only going to sleep for a couple hours, wake up.
Right.
If I know what day it is. And, like, just start, like, right? So I'm just like, eventually you got to like shake a tent and be like, I'm sweating my ass off out here.
But
please get up and drive us home.
I swear I just looked away for 1 second, then blank happened. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Willis. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Willis, you there?
Willis.
All right. What's up?
Willis, you called us to tell a story.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, we can't hear you, Willis. You got to talk louder.
All right. It's pretty funny because usually this is the story someone would tell about me. But I guess I'm going to tell something that just I looked away happened the other day.
All right.
So we were just out kayaking out here in Gig Harbor, and it got a little choppy. And so we had to set off. We were out here there's a little island we set off from. And we were at this little island. So we coming back, and we were in the group. I got Gina and Mac. I got my boys. They're on the kayak, the paddleboard with me.
You sure it wasn't Doug and Steve?
No.
Oh, different time. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. That was last week.
Gotcha.
And so I look They left ahead of me, and all of a sudden, I get there.
Shock.
Bedroom color.
I'm kind of glad that happened.
7 words you can't say on the radio.
Yes.
Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind. Let's call it. Now back to the program.
I mean, listen, I don't sound terrible. Look, you don't call this show and cuss. I mean, we just can't do it on the radio, right? I'm so glad he cussed. You know, because I don't want to just cut him off just because I didn't like him, because that seems mean. But I did like him, but I let him go. But when it cussed, I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of this. And that way he'll think, man, it's because I cussed, not because Thrill just wanted to punch me through the phone.
And that was a long setup.
Man, oh man, oh man. By the way, Miles, people are commenting on your comments about the gorge. I didn't catch this when you said it, but people keep saying, really, Miles, the difference between night and day is like night and day?
There, it's worse.
Well, they're saying your comment was,
I know.
But the difference between night and day is night and day.
I'm talking about the temperature. I mean, I'm not talking about the fact that it's dark and light. I'm saying that it goes from being 95 degrees to 40.
They're saying it's an odd comparison. Like night and day.
But isn't that the proper place to use it?
I think it's redundant.
Because I'm comparing it to what it is.
But here's the other thing. The desert is just different.
Sure.
Somebody had spent a little time in deserts, and I've had some very intelligent people ask me about like Burning Man and stuff, and you'll talk about fur coats and this and that, and they'll go, what's in the desert? Why would you need a fur coat? It's like, do you understand how it works? Like, it's chilly at night.
Pretty much every desert.
Yeah.
It's real cold.
I mean, that's kind of a thing with deserts.
Mm-hmm. It's like one of the few things they're dry, and at night they're freaking cold.
Yeah.
During the day, they're freaking hot.
And it's only got one S, because if it was dessert, you'd have two.
Right? Yeah. Speaking of that, and this was a thing.
Dessert or desert?
This was a thing where I turned away for a second. When I was out on the eastern part of Washington, this was probably about 2 months ago, I reached over to pick up a pack of my cigarettes. My cigarettes were on the ground.
All right.
So I pick up a pack of cigarettes. I go in. I grab my lighter. I drop my lighter. I'm like, hell. So then I realized, okay, that's an empty pack of cigarettes. So I go to put my hand down on the chair that I'm sitting on, right? And I look over and I'm like, oh, you know what? I brought that other pack of cigarettes over here. I reached over to pick up my cigarettes. I feel this thing on my hand, right? And I mean, it is the spider must have crawled on me when I put my hand down.
Right.
But it was on my hand, and it just absolutely started tearing into me. I still cannot get rid of this damn spider bite that's been there for over 2 months. It will not go away.
Again, do you have any superpowers?
No.
Nobody cares.
But it was gut-wrenching how much that hurt. I was like, like
that long?
Well, the people...
What happened, man? You got bitten by a spider.
The people in the room above me, they're on the deck, enjoying the evening. They're looking.
You're screaming.
Like this
wait a minute. You're not on the course?
No, I'm down. No, I'm in the room. I'm down in the...
I thought you were by your car.
I'm laying down in an Adirondack, man. I'm macked out. I got a Michelob Ultra, you know what I mean? I'm chilling out with some fireballs. And the guy looked down. He's like, you okay? I'm like, I think a spider just bit me. Because I really couldn't see it. You know what I mean? Real well.
Right.
Then when I knocked it off and saw him run away, I'm like, you son of a... Yeah. I swear I just looked away for 1 second, then blank happened. 206-421-ROCK.
Hey, man, you okay?
My hand swelled up for like a month.
Hello, Diane. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Hi. So this didn't happen to me. This happened to my mom. And I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Big Irish Catholic family. I have 10 siblings.
Jesus.
And you're from Detroit?
I'm from Detroit.
All right, here's a blast from the past to make you feel at home. That's your relaxation tape to go to sleep.
Wasn't that bad.
What?
Anyway, I mean, it was bad.
Please continue, Diane.
Okay, so my parents used to take us to the UP every year for vacation for a couple weeks, go stay at a cabin. And when they had their the first 4 kids were like, one right after the other. I had brother 3 years older, 2-year older sister, a year older sister, and then there was me. So it was the middle of summer. We're up there. My brother was 3, my sister was 2, my other sister was 1. My mom was 7 months pregnant with me. And they went down to the dock because my dad and my grandpa were coming in from fishing, and we wanted to see the fish, or they wanted to see the fish. And she had a hold of the 2-year-old, carrying the 1-year-old. My brother's walking in front of her, and they get to the end of the dock. and they're waving to my grandpa and my dad. My 2-year-old sister let go of her hand and just literally walked off the end of the dock. And so my mom is like, oh, crap, kid's underwater. So she's got, she's 7 months pregnant and got a 1-year-old in her arms. She just squatted down, grabbed her by the top of her head, her hair, and literally lifted her out of the water, set her back on the dock, and she was still sucking her thumb. It was like it didn't even affect her.
Sounds like a Simpsons episode.
Like, dude.
You think about this. This child would have drowned with her own thumb in her mouth.
Yep.
Like, somehow there's no survival instinct in a 2-year-old. Like, you're drowning. Like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy.
My mom was just, 11 kids. She was just never fazed by pretty much anything.
So you never went to like Bob Lowe Island and the amusement park and any of that because you had like so many kids?
I went to Bob Lowe Island every year.
Oh, you did?
Every year.
I can't believe your parents could afford to send 10 kids to the amusement park.
Well, we went through our church, so I don't know.
Okay.
My dad did a lot of stuff for the church and got a lot of
freebies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got a lot of. I mean, he sent 10 kids to Catholic school. So
damn,
good God, man.
Yeah.
I don't even.
There is something with the church groups because, like, I went to Catholic school. I was in a church group, and we would go to Wild Waves.
Yeah, Wild Waves.
It was Wild Waves then at Six Flags.
Six Flags,
right. But she's right. Like, I don't remember. My parents never took us, but, like, the church group would take us.
And you didn't pay. I mean, all you had to do is kind of, like, take care of lunch. It was like here's $5, $10.
Yeah, and I think you had to, like, show up, like, to church group enough times to qualify to go on the trip.
You just need to be seen, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You throw a little cash out there, and I mean, a little bit of cash, and then everything else is kind of taken care of.
Yeah.
Like, we're got it for me. If I had 10 kids, we're like, hell yeah.
That is one place, though, with kids, your head is on a swivel. You don't realize it. When you go to amusement parks, when you go to Disneyland, I don't care how old your kids are. Just because if you turn away, it's better now with cell phones, but like when your kids are really young and they don't have a cell phone, on the person, like, I mean, you're just, because there's so many people. So much going on. They're just so distracted.
So my daughter disappeared briefly at the Philadelphia airport. So got held up going through security, whatever, and my daughter's too. So she takes off. And it's Christmas time, dude. It is packed. I immediately take off to get her. And TSA guy's like, sir, I can't let you through. So I'll stop right there. That's my kid. My brother. Don't make these your last words. I'm going to go get my kid. And I got her, and it was fine. But, I mean, it was terrifying in that moment, man.
Yeah. I swear I just looked away for 1 second, then blank happened. 206-421-ROCK.